What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Natty News Daily podcast. Dan and I are going to do a little chat about this weekend's events. We did this last week or the week before when we chatted about Mr. A and all the
Last
other.
week. Yeah,
Yeah,
all blends together. I think it was last week.
yeah, it's all one blur. But anyways, there's a lot going on right now. I feel like the end of the year is kind of the
Yeah.
massive time for natural bodybuilding, especially globally. Um, there's a lot going on right now. Obviously, we're coming off Mr. America there a couple weeks ago. The IP Worlds is next weekend. WNBF Worlds is 2 or 3 weeks. So there's just a whole lot of stuff. The Natural Olympia, I think, is next weekend or the week after. So there's a lot of stuff going around. So I
Yeah.
have been trying to stay on top of everything on the Natty News Daily page, which Dan and I were just kind of joking that there's been probably like 20 posts on our page in the last 15 hours because I'm just trying to keep on top of things. I know a lot of people maybe aren't up to speed with everything that goes on in natural bodybuilding outside of their, even their country. I know for the Canadian scene, not a lot of people are familiar with even what's just in the US, but much less what's overseas in like the UK and some other stuff we're going to talk about. So let this be a podcast to show you the talent around the world, because there is so many high quality athletes out there, and what we're going to show you is just a fraction of it, because obviously I can't catch everything, and thankfully a lot of people have been tagging us and stuff, and we've been able to reshare it. Specifically, I want to give a shout out to Steve Hall, because he is judging at the WNBF UK show going down today, and he's been tagging me in stories to reshare the winners and stuff like that. So that's obviously super helpful for us with what we're trying to do. So whether you tag Natty News Daily, myself, Dan, James, anything that you guys want us to share and promote, whether you're a competitor, a judge, a promoter, whoever you are, we will do it. It's obviously helpful to have other hands in the pot to do it. So, yeah, let's do this thing. So I'm going to screen share now.
Where are we starting? Where to start?
Where to start? So let's go with summer shredding, because I think a lot of people might not be familiar with this whole thing. So for those who aren't aware of what summer shredding is, the name Christian Guzman might mean something to listeners. Alphalete might mean something to listeners. So Christian is a YouTuber. He's a businessman. He owns Alphalete. He's just recently, in the last couple of years, started Alpha Land, which is like a basically influencer hub. If you're in the fitness industry and want to get content produced, then Alpha Land is the place to be. But he started summer shredding, and it originated. I've been following Christian since I was young. I kind of come up in that era of like the original vloggers. So I've been following Christian for quite some time. So summer shredding was just kind of his little shtick with getting lean for the summer, and it typically ended with him stepping on stage. But then he created his own basically bodybuilding league. I don't know if I want to use the term federation, because he just has right now a couple qualifiers, which is then culminating to the Summer Shredding Championships. So there was one in Toronto, kind of my neck of the woods, obviously Texas, I believe. There was another one in the States, and then I could be totally wrong in saying this. I think he originally was going to do one overseas as well, like UK area, like maybe London, but I think it fell through. But anyways, he had his last qualifier at Alpha Land yesterday, and then the Summer Shredding Championships is today. So I think they're picking a best male and best female winner across the entire show. And I remember reading yesterday that I think it's 30K in prize money, which in bodybuilding is insane, but especially in natural bodybuilding. Like if you're a natural athlete and you get an opportunity to win 30 grand, like that's amazing. And that's 30 grand US. And then they've got a ring. And then I think you get obviously I'm pretty sure you get a sponsorship through Alphalete, but I think you do get a select sponsorship with some of his partners. which I think like Raw Revive is in on that. Ghost is in on that. The supplement company. So there's a lot of perks with being affiliated with them, which is going to continue to disrupt the industry a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it is. And I guess it is worth noting this is an untested event, correct?
Yeah.
So
So
it draws a lot of natural athletes, and natural athletes, good natural athletes are competitive, as you can see on the screen here.
Yeah, so it's from my understanding an untested show. I did hear them say 450 athletes this weekend, which is unreal. Like that's like national level competition athletes, and within natural bodybuilding, that's the highest level in the game level athletes as far as numbers go. So it's pretty crazy. But anyway, so let's talk about some athletes that compete at this show. So Jacob O'Neill is the gentleman you're seeing on screen right now. And what's crazy is this is like his warm-up show. He's straight up said this is not his final form yet. But he's been making waves online and anytime he competes. And he ended up competing yesterday to qualify for the championships today, and he won the bodybuilding division yesterday, which I have a photo here. So took the title yesterday at the championships, and then is competing today to potentially go win the whole thing. I have seen a couple like clips online on the Summer Shredding page, I think. And it's a really good bodybuilding lineup. Actually, a client of Cliff's is competing as well, which is super cool to see that. He is not a natural athlete, but it's pretty crazy that Jacob's likely one of, if not the only natural bodybuilder competing and ended up winning. That speaks to his quality.
Yeah. He's a WNBF pro, correct?
Yes. Yeah, he'd earned pro status within the WNBF. I don't know his plans forward, but I know he's
natural Olympia too, I think.
Yeah,
so he might have be at cards as well.
Yeah, he beat out AJ in 21, I think.
Okay.
Young guy too. He's not old by no means. I think he's like 25, maybe 26. Like he's just incredible. I'll pop over to his page real quick. Yeah, there was at the Olympia there.
That's the Natty Olympia. Yeah. I think I was 21. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you can see just in his face how young he is, right? He's still very, very young. And to have the level of muscularity.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Pretty damn incredible. And again, like he still says he's got more to go. So it's gonna be interesting to see if he takes that crown today. So that was him. Then we had Josh. So Josh is a WNBF pro representing the WNBF UK. So he competed in men's physique, flew all the way over to Texas, competed yesterday, won his height class, which qualified him for the championships today. And then again, we'll see kind of how that looks for him. And there was some nutty men's physique athletes competed there yesterday. There was some big boys on that stage. But Josh, like, shout out to him. I think he's got a very like men's physique look. You know what I mean? He's got that really small waist, broad shoulders, handsome dude, which obviously doesn't do him any disservice in men's physique. I think he's just got a really good look. And again, for being a natural athlete in the untested side of the sport, I think it's pretty damn impressive. Yeah, and he's peeled.
Yeah, great condition.
Yeah. So he's one to watch. We'll see kind of how that pans out for him today. And he's another one where he's got definitely more on the schedule. So it'll be interesting to see how he looks in the coming weeks. And then our friend right here who competed at the Mr. America, who we were pretty blown away by.
Won the amateur Mr. America, Joe.
Yep, won the amateur and then competed here again at Summer Shredding, again as a natural athlete. And I mean, impressive physique. Obviously got beat out by Jacob there, but no
I think
stop
he competed in the classic, didn't he?
Yeah, so did Jacob, but
Jacob competed classic as well. Okay.
Yeah. But again, shout out to you, my man, because no I don't know. It's so cool to see people doing these untested shows and doing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's a bit of a ceiling to that. I mean, I wouldn't expect, um, Jacob, for example, to jump in like the New York Pro and do what he's doing at this level. But when you have these regional, mid national level untested events, if you're a good natural athlete, like you've got your foot in the door to take a win, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know. I like, especially, I mean, a lot of those untested shows have, really good lighting, really good quality of production. And,
Yeah.
I think for a natural athlete to step into that light and, present themselves is phenomenal for them, phenomenal for the sport, and, presenting what natural bodybuilding can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another platform to do it.
Yeah. And like you said, the production value, when you have that really good stage lighting, the really good setup, and you're in condition, like it shows, right? And
Yeah.
we've talked about that where sometimes if you're maybe a smaller guy and you're peeled, but the lighting isn't great, then you can get kind of washed away against a guy that's just bigger because maybe the judges are looking at the shape and the silhouette because they just simply can't see
Can't see
the
the lines.
detail,
Yeah.
right? Where you look at here, like obviously Jacob's huge, but I mean, with this lighting and the
You can see the
quality,
striations, his quads and his pecs
yeah,
and his delts. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no problem there. So
separation, deep separation. Yeah.
I think these guys are really like kind of paving the way for athletes that maybe were a little reserved to doing certain shows or certain organizations because they're testing, maybe they don't test or their testing standards are low, but I mean, if you're on, get in there. Okay, moving on. INBF battle for Broadway was yesterday, and Kent locked in that win. So new WNBF pro. We saw him compete at the Mr. America there a couple weeks ago, and I think he's been chasing this for quite some time. I haven't been following him super long, but the last year or two that I've been kind of aware of him, it's been cool to see him finally kind of secure that title, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he's been
Yeah.
competing because he's a Masters, right? So he's been in the game for
Yeah.
a
In the
long
game.
time.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of anybody else that was at this show. I just stumbled across this on Facebook. But I know our boy Wayne competed in this show as well, and I think I remember seeing he got second or third in his class too. So congratulations to you, my man. And I think he's headed to Worlds. I think that's the plan now is to get that. He got that qualification now, so I think he's Worlds bound, and he'll be there with Phil. He'll be there with Dirk. So pretty cool to see all those boys get in there together.
Good group. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Dirk and shredded,
Yeah. That was
is this the most conditioned bodybuilder you've ever seen, Dan?
up there. It's got to be it's in the mix for sure.
Like this has got to be like Brian Whitaker. Like you're teetering that Brian Whitaker level,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, we've been buddies with Dirk for a long time, and we could speak highly of him till this podcast runs out of juice. But I think when you look at what natural bodybuilding standards are starting to turn into at the highest level, this is it. You know what I mean? He's a bantamweight, so he's not the biggest bodybuilder on stage. Under most organizations, he's under 145 pounds. But when you are shredded, when you are complete, really not really missing any body parts, wild.
Yeah. It is wild.
So he competed. Good.
I would say he definitely won the back shots in the show.
Yeah.
We
So
we were both streaming and going back and forth during the stream.
yeah.
And yeah.
So he competed at the ANBF, which we actually got invited out to, but unfortunately couldn't make it work. But that would have been damn cool to be there live.
Yeah. Yeah, they put on a good production. They had a drone flying around.
Yeah, man. So shout out to the ANBF because y'all did it right. You guys, I mean, maybe a little bit too much camera action at some points when you were kind of just looking at someone's physique, and then the camera angle would change or the drone would fly around, and you're like, man, I just wanted to see that shot real quick. But I mean, as far as like effort put into the show production, I mean, they've got the screen up, they've got the music, they've got the backdrop, they got the lighting, they got smoke machines, they had the whole 9 yards, which is awesome to see. So this was Dirk's pro debut. Competed with them and turned pro 2021, which was the same year he won the amateur worlds at the WNBF and turned pro there. But really good lineup of pros. I think there were 6 of them total. All of them looked unreal, but we're specifically going to talk about the top 3 here. So in third, you had Fabian, who competed worlds last year, and second,
won the middleweights
yeah,
last year.
won the middleweights and second overall to Bada. So we'll just quickly pop over to Fabian really quick. And he's got, you know, a lot of people had him potentially winning worlds last year against Bada, which is pretty cool. People that were there live. But I mean, to think that this come third at this ANBF show is pretty wild, because that speaks to the level that the other 2 guys brought that beat him, right? Like this guy, that's sick.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Really prominent chest veins, which I think just looks so sick when he hits that like most muscular shot.
Yeah, it's wicked.
So you had him in third, and then our boy Dirk in second. And your winner, Benjamin, who is just on a tear this season, undefeated, racking up overall wins and pro status left, right, and center.
Just a very complete bodybuilder, man.
I just want to highlight this really quick. I don't know if you guys can see that. The dude's 21 years old. WNBF Germany overall champ, which we're looking at right here. And earned pro status.
It immediately made a splash.
Then goes on to the Evo Classic, which we covered a week or so ago. Overall win. Just unreal. Dude is just incredible. And then, like, look at that. Gnarly.
That is gnarly.
And then competes yesterday and takes out Dirk in the pro debut and takes out Fabian runner-up at Worlds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what else we can say more about Benjamin other than the fact that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. But the resume he's building at 21, I think is rivaling most career competitive natural bodybuilders will not achieve what he's done at 21.
Yeah.
What he's done this season, let's even shrink it down even more. What he's accomplished already this season, the vast majority will not accomplish ever.
Yep.
Which is absolutely mind-blowing. So I don't know. I haven't seen kind of what his plans are next.
I assume he'll be at Worlds, but
I would assume he will be at Worlds, which I mean, if you've already beaten Fabian, who is, I mean, and again, like I think Dan and I mean you were saying, like Fabian's probably not put it all on the table.
I think he left a little bit in the tank. Yeah.
But again, considering that he was the class champ last year, runner-up overall, and then you've beat out Dirk, who I think everybody's kind of penciling in to be that bantam world champ. Like this could be quite the year for this Benjamin fella.
Yeah. I think Bada's competing this year. He better be ready. Say that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you have like Dirk in the bantam, I'm sure there'll be some crazy lightweight that comes from like Asia, because they seem to have a lot of really high quality lightweights in Asia. And then if you have Benjamin in the middles and Bada in the heavyweight, that's going to be quite the overall.
I'd say so.
Do you have any predictions? I mean, it's impossible to see them till you see them side by side. But like, do you think there's a chance that Bada gets dethroned?
Yes. Bada competed a little bit earlier in the year. I know he missed Mr. America because I think he had a family wedding or something. So I don't know what kind of condition he's in. So I have a hard time predicting.
Yeah.
I think if Bada comes in shape, I think Bada wins. But if he leaves any on the table, I think Benjamin's going to come in there and swipe it from him. So that's
Especially if Worlds provides this lighting, like we were talking
yeah,
about,
actually, that's a good point.
because
Honestly,
that's where, if the lighting isn't great, and
Bada will win
Bada's
by
obviously
100%.
bigger muscularity wise than Benjamin or Dirk. So if the lighting's not great, which doesn't allow Dirk and Benjamin to show that conditioning, then you would swing more to Bada's favor. But if you get this real nasty lighting that shows every piece of detail, and potentially Bada's not on, or is on, but maybe in comparison to the other two guys, not as conditioned, it's not impossible,
Yeah, I agree.
which is so sick.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think it is. I think it very much conditional on lighting or contingent on lighting.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, we'll go to WNBF UK. Unfortunately, I don't have all the updates going on because it is still going on as we speak. But I was able to snag Michael here, who was the junior champion. So shout out to him. There's been a lot of quality athletes I've seen on stage, which, if you guys are following our stories, you will have seen. And I will have a formal post of the overall champions as soon as I get them sent my way. But I mean, shout out to Andy and all them over there doing a good job with WNBF UK. Looked like a really good turnout. And again, I mean, no surprise that the UK is turning out a lot of quality athletes across every division, not just bodybuilding, but every division looked to have some good people on that stage. And then the big one that I've been keeping up with as best I can is the INBA Romania. So this is kind of the big one ahead of the Natural Olympia. So I've been trying to keep up to date with this as best I can. So first up, we've got the classic physique champion, Jack. I was not familiar with him until seeing him on stage, but these photos are freaking dope.
Really good shape.
Yeah, he's got like the classic shot. So this was the UKDFBA Southerns, which was in September. So 3 for 3 this season at that time. This must be from the same, yeah, UKDFBA. So at that time he was 3 for 3. And here we are now looking like 4 for 4 with a nice title. These are PNBA Pro cards, so earned his pro status with them. So I would imagine he's headed to the Natural Olympia within Classic Physique. Young guy too, and this photo is a screenshot from a video I saw, so the quality is obviously not great. But I mean, look at his quads; it's just ridiculous. Good vacuum, good like flaring rib cage, which I think in Classic Physique can be a massive difference maker.
Yeah,
is just the size and scope of kind of that rib cage area. Good arms on him, which obviously in Classic Physique looks great. So shout out to him. And then moving over to Josh here, who is undefeated in the teens this year. He did do juniors and I think open at this show as well. But as a teen bodybuilder, unreal physique, took the win here at the INBA Romania, but he's been on quite the journey this year as well. And for how young he is, like, look at him. Dude's built.
Yeah. He's a great poser for a young kid like that.
Yeah. And I think that just again speaks to the bodybuilding culture over there, right? Like the amount of effort they put into their posing, and just, I mean, look at this. Like, when have you ever seen that on a teenage bodybuilder? Like, I've never seen it locally, that's for damn sure.
Might be the first time.
Really good. Like, I mean, obviously he's going to get bigger, but I would say, like, as far as missing links go, like, he's pretty proportionate, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just continuing to stack on muscle, and he could be, up there with Benjamin and others,
Yeah, I mean, you figure he's still got most junior classes go to 23. So even if we say he's 19, he's still got 4 years before he's even out of the juniors, and he's built like this.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty damn impressive. Here's another one.
Already nailing doing really well on the conditioning side. And as he puts on more muscle and gets better at this, he'll probably be even sharper, next 5 years, which is just wild because he's already sharp as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to you, my man.
Crushing it already, and
Yeah.
up and comer, man.
This was the junior champion, Adam. Again, not someone I was familiar with prior to kind of snagging this photo and giving him a follow and some support on the page. But junior champion, obviously a good quality athlete in the junior ranks. I think the junior division is where you can start to see people really pull ahead as they get through those 20, 21, 22. You get those early 20s under your belt. You've probably been training now since you were 17, 18 for a lot of us. So you've trained 5, 6, 7 years, and you see that, that little bit of maturity in your physique come to light. So you can see him, starting to knock on those years, which is awesome. Moving over to the man right here. I'm not gonna butcher your name, my friend. Radu, AJ's client. Results from the show: classic physique, class 3, first place win, second in the overall, earns a pro card. Open bodybuilding, class 3, first place, third in the overall, earns a pro card. So another young athlete with plenty of potential, as you can see here in the post, 3 weeks to the pro debut. So he's not wasting any time, headed to the Natural Olympia under the guidance of AJ. So clearly a good team, really good athlete.
Really full through the upper body, through that top line, the delts and the chest.
Yeah, his I wonder if he's got a side tricep posted on here, because that's probably his side chest and side tricep. There's side chest there. Yeah, he's got really gnarly arms and delts. That's for damn sure. Look at these guys in the background. They're like, damn.
Yeah.
Who is this? Yeah, here was him. So he did what show was it there?
There's a side tricep there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really
meaty arms and delts on him. So the Natural International Championship. So this was just a couple weeks ago, where it was first across the board, and then did the Romania show this weekend with some good placings, earned pro status. Then we move over to Mark, this massive man. Won his heavyweight class and second in the overall. I haven't been able to dig up who won the overall in the amateur class. I do have the pro winner, but the guy that beat him was a little bit smaller, but probably just a bit more complete. But Mark, debut season and killing it.
Extremely muscular.
Yeah, under Adam Powell's guidance, which is another UK boy. But yeah, really good work there. And then to close it out, Nigel was the pro champion today. Another UK athlete. Team UK just cleaning house, but again, not someone that I'm overly familiar with. Berto just commented on there, so he must be a fan of his, but just huge, just jacked, shredded, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so he did the UK finals there, took that win, and then I would imagine heading to the Natural Olympia as a pro and going to do some damage there.
Lots of stuff to happen this weekend, and it ain't over yet, too.
Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. So obviously there's still the summer shredding results. I'm going to get the WNBF UK overall winners up on the page as soon as I can get a hold of them. What else is still not done? Romania still has athletes going on across other divisions, so I'll try to keep up to date with that. But yeah, just figured we'd do this impromptu podcast to keep you guys in the loop with everything, and just doing our best to share the love. And obviously it's working. We just hit 18.1 thousand on Instagram, so we are another 100 no thousand 18.1. Would that be 100 or 1,000? 100 math.
100, yeah.
Leg day brain. Yeah, another 100 closer to 20K. So we appreciate the support as always, guys. And like I said at the very beginning, tag us, whether it's myself, whether it's James, whether it's Dan, Natty News Daily. Like, we connect with each other every day, all day. So we're trying to be that information hub for natural bodybuilding. So we appreciate everybody's support. Everybody's helping us doing that. And if you guys like this episode, give it a like, subscribe for future episodes, and we'll see you guys in the next one.